Hello, Ms Gingergingercat. Thank you very much for your video response, and I'm very pleased that you would like to subscribe to my channel, and you're quite happy to comment on my videos. Thank you for doing a video response for me. It wasn't quite what I was expecting. I'll tell you what I would really like. Okay, it's really good that you, as a practicing witch, and myself as a born-again Christian, can converse on YouTube, and I hope it remains a very pleasant and enlightening experience for both of us. At least, although we may not agree, that we can agree to disagree and do it respectfully, which is very important for any dialogue. I've already seen some of your videos and how much you value conversation in the whole thing, and the feeling's mutual. What I was hoping for, obviously my set of videos, I'm not a Hollywood producer, I'm not an eloquent speaker, I'm not writing out speeches and giving things word for word verbatim. Everything you see is off the cuff, and it is sometimes just thoughts that come to my head, observations I see and I read, and I come up with things based upon that, of course, some of which you disagree with. The purpose of the videos which I did on Tools of the Occult were, of course, there for a Christian audience, and so my interpretation of the use of the tools, the practicing, etc., obviously very different from yours. They weren't meant to be an academic study or anything either. It was just that one of the main books I have at the moment was the Walter Martin Kingdom of the Occult, the sequel to his book Kingdom of the Cults, and it basically just went through tools of the occult, these occult practices, and what they actually did, and basically I just gave them air. Basically, some of them I've seen and used and had used upon me, and heard a lot of other people talk about and use before, from before I was a Christian. In the past, I'm not going to go into a huge thing about my experiences and stuff. Some understanding of the occult comes, like I said, from different experiences a long time ago. There are a lot of people in the occult who come at things from different perspectives, different from yourself. I'm sure you would agree on that. But I was never a witch, so you can actually educate me, and that's what I was hoping, and I would like to invite you to do, and encourage you to do. I mean, you'd be very critical of my English, how I produce things, how I appear on screen, my wiggling, my movements. You haven't criticised my budgies. A lot of people gave a lot of criticism of the budgies. Which, okay, yeah, I admit they were annoying. Don't have them anymore. Just TV and kids in the background, and other noises and noisy neighbours and things now. But what I do encourage anyone from an agreeing viewpoint and from a differing viewpoint as well is, if the basis of what I say is wrong, please educate me. Tell me where I'm wrong. If I was to come out and say, all witches use palmistry, if you do, just share what it's used for. Why is it that Gypsy Lee at the fairground will read a palm and how to interpret it, and how, if there's any difference in what witches will do in that perspective with that tool of the occult, as I labelled it. If charms and amulets aren't used for things that we as Christians believe they're used for, can you share why you use them? If you believe a spirit guide, is that something prevalent in witchcraft? Spirit guides, what are they? Where are they from? Tell me about your gods. What the names are. Um, are they known to actually audibly speak? Do they speak through an idol, as some gods and things in the past have claimed to do, or some religions have claimed? I'm not going to try and catch you out with anything. If we're going to discuss something, compare viewpoints, we can do that later. But I'm not going to tell you what you should be believing as a witch, because I'm not a witch and I never was. So why should I say what you should be believing? And if it's something that witches disagree on, and your particular coven practice, and there's a coven somewhere else and they don't practice something, say so. There's a if there's an authority system, a patriarchal system within witchcraft, if you don't consider yourselves to be Satanists, or there are some which who do consider us to be Satanists, you can explain that. You can enlighten me and other YouTube viewers on this one, and by all means question me on why my religion teaches something. I'm not in a religion, actually. I don't consider myself in a religion. I'm a Christian. I'm in a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. You might not believe in him. You might not believe he exists. You might not believe he was a real person. Be interested to know why. Why you discount in that certain information. So that's what I invite you to do. I invite you to ask questions, and we can do that without taking the mickey of how we say things and how we spell and typos and things. Just because some people can't spell doesn't mean their theology is in error. If you look at some of the preachers on the internet or on YouTube, or historically even, a very famous Christian preacher was called Smith Wigglesworth, and used to carry a Bible around in his pocket, a really ratty, tatty old Bible, and he couldn't read a word of it. And yet he's a lot of people say he was a very powerful Christian. Some people disagree, but he couldn't read and write. I was part of a Christian businessman's fellowship, where the ancestor of the founder of the fellowship drew a map of a distant land that his family had to move from to this distant land from Armenia, and that ancestor couldn't read or write, never even knew this land existed, and yet in a conversation with God one day, the Christian God drew a very detailed map of the west coast of America, and they said, that's where you got to go from. You got to go from here. Sorry, that's where you got to go to. It's got to go to this place. So, being, as far as I'm concerned, being able to speak eloquently and being able to read and write in 100% perfect English, depending on what you view that perfect English to be, because so many different types of English is spoken, isn't the deal breaker on an argument. It's whether what is being said is true, or at least true from a certain perspective. It's going to be the deal breaker. Because, like I said, we can disagree, but we can at least agree on the fact. We can at least agree that there is such a thing as palmistry, and that it is something which is used within certain occult practices. And one person might say, oh well, it is a spiritual gift. Another person might say, well no, it's a scientific gift, a scientific ability. that lines do mean something, and it is deducing things based on what these lines mean. Another person might say, well, actually no, there is a power that gives the knowledge. You talk about knowledge. There's a power that gives that knowledge, and we have to identify where that knowledge comes from, whether it's something that someone makes up as they go along, or whether there is a spiritual being giving that knowledge to the palm interpreter, palm reader, and all these sorts of things. So let's do that. It'd be really good. I will look forward to your videos telling me exactly what palmistry is from a witch's perspective, what charms and amulets are from a witch's perspective, what familiar spirits, spirit guides, ghosts, etc. are from a witch's perspective. And then when that's done, then we can compare the two and discuss what we think they are in a friendly, nice, pleasant manner, and other people can be free to join in as well. Okay, so thank you very much, and indeed, peace be with you, and look forward to conversing in the future. Thank you very much for subscribing and for sending me your video. Thank you.